Let's talk more about this social media ban for under 16s with my next guest, Women's Forum Australia Head of Advocacy, Stephanie Bastian. Stephanie, let's listen to Matt Canavan again, questioning ACMA officials in Senate hearings on whether the government's social media ban for under 16s applies to pornography platforms like Pornhub. You will not believe this interaction.
But if YouTube's covered, as a video sharing for non-explicit content, video content, why wouldn't Pornhub be covered? Is Pornhub covered?
I think they have very different purposes.
Yeah. Explain that to me. Sorry, I think this is...
Under the definition, we wouldn't see Pornhub as falling within scope. It's not seen as social media.
Just explain to me in simple terms how, if YouTube is covered, how would another video sharing service with explicit material, admittedly, not be covered?
So, again, Senator, it comes back to the commitment that the government's already made in relation to...
No, I'm not asking for a commitment. I'm asking in the law. We've got to pass the law, not government's commitments. So in the law, how are these two services different?
I think YouTube and Pornhub are completely different.
I agree with that, but how are they differently defined in the law?
Stephanie, a 14-year-old, a 13-year-old can access hardcore porn but not use X or Instagram, even with parental permission. They can't be on social media, but they can see this extreme pornographic material. Does this seem sane to you?
Well, good evening, Rita. This is an absolute joke. This bill is seriously flawed, and it actually doesn't tackle any of the issues that are facing children. We've just looked at that clip on pornography. YouTube is banned, but Pornhub is not, even though we know there are issues with kids and sexual assault rising due to their access. We know that kids are being taught harmful gender ideology at school that's resulting in them taking drugs and undergoing surgeries that are irreversible, yet the government won't investigate. We know that little girls are being exploited by their parents as influencers and drawing followings of predatory men. Yet there's nothing in this bill that tackles that or deals with that or prevents that from happening. This bill is a way for the government to look like it's doing something when it's not doing anything at all to deal with these issues that are harming children. It's a total cop-out.
And it's a total cop-out from coalition MPs who are just going along with this because it might test well in focus groups. If you just take a minute to scrutinise the detail, it all falls apart. One of the questions, I don't know if you have an answer to this, but how's this policy going to be implemented without all of us submitting to age verification, digital ID, or providing some other form of age verification to access social media? How is a 60-year-old going to prove they're over 16 so they can be on these platforms?
Well, this is a question the government hasn't even answered, and in fact it's a reason why the crossbench and the coalition should be opposing it, one of many. I mean, this is a great concern. What about elderly people who can barely log into their phones, yet alone get ID uploaded? This is a way for them to connect with their families. There are a number of issues with this bill, including security issues and risks, and the government hasn't responded to them at all. You can't just pass a bill and say, we'll work it out at the end. You could be handing more power and more privacy over to government departments where they're not entitled to have it. This issue should be resolved before it's passed. I mean, quite frankly, this bill should be blocked.
It absolutely should. It is underdone. There's scant detail about how it will be implemented. And it seems to be if that crucial part has been handballed to the Office of the E-Safety Commissioner, and that in itself is a massive worry. Now, moving along, Jaguar's woke rebrand is not going so well. They are being mocked far and wide for this effort. The mockery has extended to spoofs of the ad, which are actually, I've got to say, far more innovative and clever than the real thing. Stephanie, Jaguar's managing director, Roden Glover, has called criticism of their ad vile and a blaze of intolerance. But isn't this just people who are sick of this sort of activism, corporate activism masquerading as an innovative commercial? There's nothing innovative about it.
Absolutely not. The beast has gone out of their branding. I think people are sick of woke being rammed down their throats by these big corporates. I mean, this clip is something out of the Hunger Games. It's quite sad because once branded a masculine car, it's been totally neutralised or feminised, whatever you like, which I think is really symptomatic of the culture we're going for today, that the left are pushing into our culture today. And I think that's very sad for the legacy of the car as well.
Just finally, Stephanie, it was International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women yesterday, and your organisation, Women's Forum Australia, launched a campaign last night to restore sex-based rights in law and policies across state and federal jurisdictions. Tell me about this campaign and how people can support you.
Well, we've launched this campaign because we need both state and federal legislators to tackle the issues that are harming women in our policies. It's not just legislation, it's policies in schools, it's policies in prisons, it's state and federal legislation that needs to be amended from the Employment Act to Discrimination Act. So this is the starting point for collective action. We encourage people to get onto our website to sign up to follow the campaign, to sign the petition. You can find it at www.womensforumaustralia.org/XX and really get involved because we need this for the future of our women and girls.
Stephanie Bastian, thanks for your time.